Whoopsies. So the ticket's got random, right? It's spread so fast. But the blood one is signed by the JD.
The city staying on top of the demolition, man. Aren't they? The city staying on top of this demolition. So houses.
Yeah. Kids don't play that.
Good morning. I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Sweetwater City Council for Tuesday, August 11th at 9 a.m. And I will ask Councilmember Kerry Baker to give the invocation and Councilmember John McPherson to lead us in the pledges.
Join us in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for your many blessings in our life. Father, we thank you for the blessing of living in Sweetwater, Texas. We just pray that you would guide this meeting today, that we could be a benefit to the citizens of Sweetwater. Lord, we also ask for the blessing of rain, that you would send us rain that would replenish our lakes and our land. Father, just guide us in all that we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Just join me in saying the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Item 4, we will discuss, consider, and act upon approval of the minutes for the meeting held on July 14th.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. If there's no discussion, we'll proceed with the vote. All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the minutes are approved. Item 5, calls for public input. At this time, anyone is allowed to speak on any matter other than personnel matters or matters under litigation for a length of time not to exceed 3 minutes. No council discussion or action may take place on a matter until such matter has been placed on an agenda and posted. Is there anyone who wishes to speak? Moving on to regular agenda, item 6, discuss, consider, and act upon bid proposals received for health, dental, and vision benefits for fiscal year 26-27. Oh, there you are.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As you know, we went out for bids a couple of months ago. We put a notice out, and we received requests from not only the incumbents, but also we had 3 different companies, 3 different carriers that asked for the RFP, and we received their bids in last month, and so this is to report to you what we received. And I think you've all got a couple of handouts here. Mm-hmm. If you'll look at the legal size document, this is your medical plan. And just kind of, this is the same thing you see every year, but just kind of to refresh you what you're looking at here. Top row, the upper left, is the 2025 projected cost. And so at this time last year, Blue Cross was telling you to expect a total cost of $2,766,000 for your plan for this year. Does everybody see that number on there? The column next to it is the actual results of your plan through June annualized. And if the wheels don't fall off in the last 3 months of your plan year, you're looking at more like 2.5 million. So you are about 7% under what Blue Cross projected this year. You had a really good year. I think probably a lot of that, if not all, is because most of your employees moved to an HMO plan, and that has considerably helped you. But it could just also be that you're having a good year because of the case mix of claims. Sometimes, you have a year that's just better than others. And so you're having a really good year. So it looks like you're going to end up around $2.6 million. The middle column says 2026 renewal BCBS. This is the renewal with Blue Cross if you don't make any changes. And it's going to be, they're estimating 3.1 million. Now this is them estimating a large increase in claims. And what we always remind you is the claims are going to be what the claims are going to be. So obviously this year they missed their claims projection by 10%, so they could well miss it again next year. So what we really have to hang our hat on are the fixed costs, because those are the numbers that will not change regardless of what your claims do. So if you look down there, your fixed costs are estimated to be $984,000 based upon your current census, which is about $172,000 more than what you're paying this year. So that's a significant increase in fixed costs. We went, one of the carriers that quoted on you this year was Texas Health Benefits Pool, which used to be TML. You're all familiar with TML. So that's the next column. It says Texas Health Benefits TXHB/US Fire. What we discovered when we got their quote and we started digging into it is that they don't provide stop loss. You have to go out for stop loss. They don't provide it at all. So we got a quote from a number of different companies, one of which there is US Fire. You can see that their overall cost is projected to be $2.9 million, except they have put a laser on one of your members. And what that means is with the individual stop loss, right now everyone is insured where the city pays up to $65,000 on each individual member. If it goes over $65,000, then your reinsurance picks it up. Right now with Blue Cross, there are no lasers, so everybody in your population is $65,000. This carrier has said you've got one person and it's your highest cost claimant, and I don't know what's wrong with them, but it's something that's ongoing. And they've said on this particular claimant, we're not capping your cost at $65,000, we're capping it at $225,000. So you're going to have to pay an extra $160,000. And in discussions with Brian and Lisa, this person's probably going to hit that. So we just have to add that $160,000 back to your cost, which brings the Texas Health Benefit Pool US Fire quote up to 3.1 also. Next over is Texas Health Benefits Pool with a Sun Life reinsurance quote. They also lasered that person, but they lasered them for $250,000. So their quote then, the estimate is $3.3 million. We also got fully insured quotes from Texas Health Benefit Pools, and those are on the bottom line. You can see that the PPO plan with Texas Health Benefits is a 3.1 again. HMO is 2.9, but on both of those quotes, you will have runoff claims from your current Blue Cross plan, because what happens is any claim that was incurred during the period 10/1/25 through 9/30/26 will be paid by Blue Cross, even if it is not submitted for payment until after 10/1/26. Those are called runoff claims. And so those could theoretically be pretty big. If you had somebody that got put in the hospital, like say they had a really horrible car wreck on September 28th, and they got put in the hospital, but their bills didn't actually get submitted until after 10/1, that falls outside of your reinsurance contract, which means that $65,000 doesn't apply. And so when you move from a self-funded plan to a fully insured plan, there's a potential there for you to get hit with some large claims. Doesn't happen always, but it can happen. So that's something that you have to take into consideration. But even if you don't have a large claim, you're going to have claims that show up after 10/1 that were incurred before 10/1, and you're going to have to pay those. So those are runoff claims that will increase the cost somewhat. Probably, if you don't have any major claims, you're still probably looking at a couple $100,000 that would add to that number. Now we're still working on the stop loss. We're still trying to get those stop loss numbers down. And so I think of what we've got here, there's nothing that makes me think that it's to your benefit to change carriers from Blue Cross to Texas Health Benefits Pool. Texas Health Benefits Pool does a great job, but they're not saving you any money from these quotes, and it's a lot of disruption to change carriers. So, you know, I would leave that up to y'all. My recommendation would be that you stay with Blue Cross and you give us the forbearance to be able to still try to negotiate your stop loss down a little bit, if possible. The next page is your dental and vision, and you had 3 companies ask for RFPs on the dental and vision, one of which did not send anything in, and it was a California company that I think probably once they got looking at Sweetwater, where all of your population is, they decided they didn't have the network that was competitive, so we did not hear back from them. Emeritus is your incumbent, and Emeritus, which is the first column, gave you a rate pass on your dental, so if you stay with them, there's no change to the dental rates. The vision is a 3.9% increase, but they haven't increased your dental rate, your vision rate since like 2022 or 2023, so it's been quite a while. As far as I know, there's no complaints about Emeritus. Lisa hasn't conveyed to us anybody that's unhappy with Emeritus. Next to that is the Texas Health Benefits Pool quote, and you can see that their dental quote is like 32% higher, and they do not offer orthodontia on a voluntary plan, so I would say that we definitely don't want to do that. Their vision quote is better, it's 11.7% better, all of which is in the dependent rates, not in the employee-only rates, but they use the IMED network of providers, which is not as good as the VSP network that y'all use. Now, MetLife has given you some very competitive rates for dental and vision. Matching the benefits on your dental rates, on your dental plan, they have given you dental rates that are about 8% less. That's not much dollar-wise. We're talking about $1 something, per person, or $2 and something per person per month on the employee-only rate. So it's a significant percentage, but not a big dollar amount. And on the vision, again, it's like a 20% less rates, but we're talking about a couple of dollars per month per person. So those rates are not significant dollar-wise, but they are significant percentage-wise. And I would just defer to Lisa on that and what her suggestion is, because we're happy to do either, and we'll move you if you want to be moved. That's not a big deal. We can take care of that.
I don't think it's enough to change to disrupt everybody.
Right. She said she doesn't think it's enough for disruption to move. And that you can't change carriers without there being some disruption, but MetLife is a good network, and so that would be, I defer to her what she thinks. Are there any questions? That's a whole lot of information.
Well, effectively, we've got really 3 different bids we can decide
Yes.
on, and I guess we could do that as one motion, or if any of the council members felt the need to, we could split it up and vote on each individually.
Make a motion, we leave them as is, the same.
First, you're saying stay with Blue Cross Blue Shield and Emeritus?
Yes.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And if we're able to get the stop loss down a little more, this is the worst case scenario, and then hopefully we can save you a little more on the stop loss. Okay.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Then all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, vote up.
Thank
Aye
you.
Also, so the motion is approved. 6B, discuss, consider, and act upon a resolution approving a negotiated settlement between the Atmos City Steering Committee and Atmos Energy Corporation Mid-Tex Division regarding the company's 2026 rate review mechanism filing. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Sean Martin, Manager of Public Affairs, Office at 1101 North Arnold Boulevard in Abilene. I'm here this morning, again, on behalf of Atmos Energy, asking the council to pass a resolution or ordinance approving new rates based on the rate review mechanism, or RRM, as you may remember. As you may recall, the city approved the rate review mechanism tariff in the spring of 2018. The RRM allows us to adjust our rates on an annual basis to recover the investments made in our gas delivery system. Based on the agreement, Atmos Energy filed to increase rates per the RRM in April. The initial filing would have increased the average residential customer's bill by $14.94 per month, and the average commercial customer's bill by $50.09 per month. Over the past 5 years, customers have benefited from $219 million in rate reductions that were implemented to fully pass through the savings from the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, as previously negotiated with our RM cities. $46.8 million of the current increase is due to the completion of this refund. Following the filing that we submitted in April, we have negotiated with the Atmos City Steering Coalition, which the city is a part of, to finalize our rate. Together with the coalition, we have agreed upon a rate structure that will increase the average residential customer's bill by about $13.37 per month, and the average commercial customer's bill by about $44.82 per month. Also on the dais, I placed city profile that just kind of gives you an example of where we're at here in the city as we are as far as fiscal year 2025. So since 2021, about $41.5 million in capital expenditures within the city, 2,641 customers, 78 miles of pipe. A lot of that's getting replaced and has been replaced and will continue to be replaced as we move along. And then last year alone, about $20.8 million spent in the city. On the pie chart to the right, you can see that's a good thing. That's what we've been replacing, is we're putting the new poly in into the city. So replacing aged pipe, type of pipe, and removing some of those things. So, but as part of the coalition, the coalition has recommended that y'all approve this resolution. And I'll be happy to answer questions if you have them.
Can you forecast how much longer these replacements are going to be disrupting our streets?
Again, I don't want to speculate on time, but we're working new plans, new calendars, trying to figure out the best way, moving crews from here to a smaller community, trying to take the burden off the city. And we appreciate staff's help in locating and doing all of those things. But I don't want to give you an exact timeline, but I can find one out and get it back to you. But we're focused on Sweetwater.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Sean, will there be a final walkthrough, so to speak, with your staff on the streets and the repair of where y'all dug?
Yes, sir. Be happy to do that for you. Okay. Yeah, we'll continue to work closely and communicate. We'll have our regular meetings, make sure that any work that we've done is repaired according to your standards.
Any further questions or discussions? I hear a motion.
I'll make a motion we act upon a resolution approving negotiated settlement between the Atmos City Steering Committee and the Atmos Energy Corporation Mid-Tex Division regarding the company's 2026 rate review mechanism filing.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. There's no further discussion. We'll vote now. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion is approved. I'll now read it into the record. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Sweetwater, Texas, approving the negotiated settlement between the Atmos City Steering Committee and the Atmos Energy Corp. Mid-Tex Division regarding the company's 2026 rate review mechanism filing, declaring existing rates to be unreasonable, adopting tariffs that reflect rate adjustments consistent with the negotiated settlement, finding the rates to be set by the attached settlement tariffs to be just and reasonable and in the public interest, approving an attachment establishing a benchmark for pensions and retiree medical benefits, requiring the company to reimburse ACSC's reasonable rate making expenses, determining that this resolution is passed in accordance with the requirements of the Texas Open Meetings Act, adopting a savings clause, declaring an effective date, and requiring delivery of this resolution to the company and the ACSC's legal counsel. Item 6, discuss and consider and act upon adoption of a resolution reviewing and approving the fiscal policy and federal grant procurement policy for fiscal year 2026-2027. Thank you, Sean. Okay, any questions for Kristen?
Move we approve the financial policy and federal grant procurement policy.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Kristen, no substantial changes to either of these.
There was one change, just giving the designated authority to the city manager to sell fixed assets. There's nothing explicit in our ordinances or charter that gives him that authority. So while new verbiage in our financial policy, nothing that's out of practice for the city of Sweetwater.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. No further discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. I'll now read the resolution into the record. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Sweetwater, Texas, approving the financial policy and federal grant procurement policy attached as Exhibit A and establishing an effective date. Item 6D, discuss and consider and act upon a resolution reviewing and approving the investment policy for fiscal year 2027.
There is no substantial changes other than updating language.
Make a motion to act upon the resolution reviewing and approving the investment policy for fiscal year 27.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. There's no more discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the resolution is approved. I'll read it into the record. A resolution reviewing and approving the City of Sweetwater investment policy for fiscal year 2027. Item 6E, discuss, consider, and act upon a resolution on the central rate schedule for the 2026-2027 budget.
There was substantial changes in this, redesigning the document, updating some language, clarifying some language, along with alphabetizing within the different sections. The main thing for council consideration is the increase in refuse and sewer rates, along with a new water and sewer classification for transient housing, which would be considered hotel, motels, extended stays, and RV parks. The transient housing rate classification would mirror what we are already doing for apartments, complexes.
Any further questions?
Move we approve the rate schedule.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. If there's no more discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the resolution is approved. I'll now read it into the record. A resolution confirming and ratifying the central rate schedule for various fees, licenses, permits, and rates charged by the City of Sweetwater, Texas for the fiscal year 2027 and adopting central rate schedule. Item 6F, to discuss and consider and act upon scheduling a public hearing for September 8th, 2026 on the proposed budget for the fiscal year ending 26-27.
I'll make a motion, we schedule a public hearing for September 8th, 2026 on the proposed budget for fiscal year ending 2026-2027.
Have a motion and a second. If there's no more discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries and the public hearing is scheduled. Item 6G, which is discuss, consider, and take a record vote to propose a tax rate and to schedule a public hearing for September 8th, 2026, and to set an adoption date of September 15th, 2026. The proposed tax rate, 50.548303 per $100 valuation, exceeds the new revenue tax rate, but is lower than the voter approval rate and is effectively a 9.82% increase in the tax rate. Questions for Krista?
Just give us a very brief summary as to why.
Our property values this year were down. Therefore, to cover the decrease in property tax valuations, we would need to increase our tax rate. The tax rate that is proposed here is a little bit more, giving us about $180,000 within the general fund to cover additional expenditures.
Did you say 180,000?
Yes, sir. Approximately.
And the driver behind that decrease, the BPP, is a big issue.
Yes.
Or not as big an issue. but-
Not as big of an issue that other entities saw. There was also a decrease in commercial and residential.
Okay. No further questions? I will ask for a motion and a second from the council to approve a proposal of .548303 cents per $100 evaluation and to schedule a public hearing for September 8th of 2026 and a second hearing and adoption date of September 15th, 2026. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and we will call for a roll call vote. I will state your name, and each one of you will vote for or against. Mayor Pro Tem McPherson?
For.
Councilmember Baker?
For.
Councilmember Castro?
4.
Councilmember Bull absent. And then I vote for. So the motion carries. Item 6G is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. 6H, we'll now move on in discussion, consider and act upon authorizing staff to advertise for bids for the purchase of fuel, oil, lubrication products, and hot lay asphalt for city operations for the contract period of October 1st, 2026 through September 30th of 2027. Jonathan, anything you would?
No, sir, it's just our yearly bid that we need to put out for those items that we need to get best bids on.
Okay.
Jonathan, do you want to talk to him about the stuff we're going to purchase?
So we're currently looking at, TxDOT is currently using a system where they use a blade lay apparatus. It's a specialty piece of equipment that they're buying in bulk. So what it does is it can be used for both overlay operations, especially with the street repairs and everything that need to be done because of all the utilities. We could also use it for small seal coat operations, and then also to even use if we need to do asphalt millings and some of those things for some of the alleyways that need to be repaired. It's very low cost compared to if you were to get a paving package. You could look between $250,000 to $500,000. That's used equipment. This is going to cost less than $40,000 to include a asphalt trailer and the apparatus in itself. using the dump trucks and everything else that we currently have in inventory. So we're able to do smaller sections of roadways where we're not putting a huge burden on citizens, but we're also be able to go through and start sealing up the streets and fixing as quick as we can, following in behind all the utility companies as they go through and do what they do.
Is this going to be used primarily for just small area patching, or
It
are we
is.
looking over taking the seal coat
Uh,
entirely on ourselves?
Both, sir. It depends on availability of asphalt and what we can get the asphalt on as far as price. TxDOT currently uses on a lot of the FM roads. What they're doing is they can do up to 6 to 8 miles a day. We won't have that capability just because of both materials and personnel, but we can surely start trying to look at doing city sections. Say, I was looking at a couple of them yesterday. If 1,400 feet, give or take, city sections from main roadway sections in between on some of the side sections. And then the bigger areas outside of the TxDOT roadway, what we can do is probably get those more or less on the seal coat side of it. That way we can do quicker, faster. But the smaller city sections, yes, sir, we should be able to start going through and being able to do those. And we can adjust with this machine. You can adjust it. I mean, you can do the depth of the overlay is whatever we set the machine to. Typical seal coat operations, whether you use a grade 3 or 4 rock, depends on the size of the rock. But we can do half-inch overlay, 3/4 overlay, 1-inch overlay, depending on the condition of the street, and be able to vary that to daylight outside of where the curb sections are. So we can actually make it look like, or it would be a paved section of the road, and actually do a little bit better job of holding our streets together. I would also like to try to use it in the areas where the railroad track areas need to be removed, and go through and either replace those areas with concrete or pave those as well. But again, I'm looking at trying to design out and see what I can do as far as getting those sections identified.
Thank you, John. Any further questions? Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion.
1 second.
A motion and a second. There's no more discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. Item 6I, discuss and consider and act upon orders declaring structures on described properties within the city of Sweetwater, Texas to be dilapidated and/or deteriorated and unfit for human habitation, so as to require repair, rehabilitation, or demolition, providing a time with which to rehabilitate, repair, or demolish such structures, and providing for the repair, rehabilitation, or demolition and removal, which requires a public hearing for each property. At this time, City Attorney Samantha Morrow will swear in Code Enforcement Officer Brad Grizzle
Sergeant Chris Friedel.
and Chris Friedel. Okay.
Brad Grizzle and Chris Friedel, do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in the matter pending before the City Council is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Thank you. So at this time, we will start the public hearing process. Do I hear a motion to open the public hearing for 511 Walnut Street?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, guys. We'll try to get through this.
We need, so all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. None opposed. Okay, we're now in public hearing. Brad, go ahead.
Sorry about that. Thank you. We'll try to get you guys through this rather quickly. This is 511 Wall Street. We've been doing some work in that neighborhood. There's 2 lots, this one and the one right next to it. We just did a junk and debris abatement in the rear of that. Both of these areas are overgrown, abandoned. In the future, I'd like to see the one that I'm to the left of it, which you can't see. We'll deal with that at a later time. But this one is one of these third-party outfits based out of Houston somewhere. We couldn't even find a forwarding address to have any communications with them. It's just been sitting here as you see it. All the wood's been exposed and to the weather, and the neighbors are actually complaining about this one and the one next to it with the vagrancies that are coming through and in and out, creating a problem in the neighborhood. So we'd just like to get it dealt with and move on.
Any questions for Brad? Is there anyone else that wishes to speak on 511 Wall Street?
Walnut.
Walnut, thank you. That might upset somebody. 511 Walnut Street. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay, that's closed public hearing. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, do I have a motion for declaration of debilitation and or deterioration and unfit for human habitation, order repair, rehabilitation, or demolition of 511 Walnut Street within 35 days of order?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and the motion carries to order repair, rehabilitation, or demolition of 511 Walnut Street within 35 days of repair. Do I have a motion to open a public hearing for 505 Hill Street?
Motion to open.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And so we are now in public hearing for 505 Hill Street. Excuse me.
Thank you. So 505 Hill, we're making an attempt to do some work in this area. So this is one of the structures that we identified. Through the pictures, you'll be able to see better that the roof is completely gone. I have been in communication with the owner. She lives next door. Unfortunately, she's a widow, and her husband at some point in the past bought this property and one across the street from it in an attempt to limit the availability of other people moving into them. Unfortunately, over the years, it dilapidated, and it hurts me to burden her financially by this. But I've spoken to her several times. She was going to attempt to be here today, but she had a doctor's appointment. She called this morning. She did mention that she's working to get a contract with a local contractor here in town. This is new information as of this morning. So she is making an attempt to do it, and I informed her basically what the standard response would be from this morning and gave her kind of what she could expect for timelines. And it could potentially, hopefully, give her some wiggle room. Like I said, I hate to financially burden some of these people, but like I said, it is one of our targeted structures, and we do need to deal with it. And she even admitted to the fact that there were people coming and going at night and getting into their backyard and taking things and in and out of the structure. And she agrees 100% that it needs to be dealt with. She's just, again, it's financially burdening to have to do it. So I told her we were going to present it and get a vote on it, and we'll just see where it goes from there. And I'll be in touch with her to inform her what's decided and kind of what she can expect. So, and I have been inside of it. I don't have any pictures of it, but it's just as bad as anything else I've ever presented to you guys. So.
Some more information on this location. This is one of our very high drug areas as well. We've run a couple search warrants over there on narcotics, received not this specific address, but this general area that we've really been targeting in the past year and a half. We've gotten stolen vehicles, stolen firearms, narcotics out of there as well in this general area, and it's in about a 3-block radius of some future development that's wanting to come in as well. And it's just we're working to clean up this area both on the code side as well as the law enforcement side. There's been a lot of issues in this area.
Brad, do you think if we gave her some time, do you think she would actually get something done? Or
I think, and I told her, I said, you know, and I was just being honest with her, if the city agrees to do it and they order it, she'll have 35-day window. And then I told her, but the backlog that we have right now, I mean, it may be the first of the year before we see any movement on it.
And she's willing to demo it, right?
She's willing. She said, I'm talking to a contractor and I'm trying to handle it, and she's gonna have to get a loan and all this other stuff. And I said, if we do it, I don't know the price. I don't know what he's bidding her, but she can make the payments to us if we end up doing it. We would prefer they do it, you know, because we've got 15 that are in front of this one. But I told her at this point we're going to go ahead and present it because it's the day of, and I'll just be in touch with her. And I told her if she gets on it and gets it knocked down, then it all just goes away and everybody's happy. So we're just trying to make an impact in the area. And again, I hate to lean on her and make her, find the money, and it is a burden, and I feel bad about that. But at the same time, we've got a duty to improve these areas, and that's our whole goal. So, but I think she, and I asked her, I said, if you get a contract, if you can bring that in and it's signed and agreed and everything's in black and white and signed, then I'm sure that we would just back off and leave it, let her handle it, But I guess the fail-safe is if she doesn't handle it, then we still have the ability to, when the time is appropriate, after today, we can go in and abate it if we have to, if we get orders from you guys.
Seems like it would almost be easier if she didn't do anything and let the city handle it.
That's kind of what
and we could benefit the neighborhood in the process sooner.
The only issue is Jonathan and his guys are very busy, and we're limited, and it'd almost be like whoever gets to it first, so I would recommend we agree on it, because we've got some that have been voted and we're well past the 35 days. It's just a matter of time to get to them, and that could give her a window of opportunity to handle it herself.
Is there anyone else that wants to speak on 505 Hill Street? Okay. If not, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That public hearing is closed. Do I hear a motion for declaration of dilapidation and/or deterioration and unfit for human habitation in order to repair, rehabilitation, or demolition of 505 Hill Street within 35 days from date of order?
Make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. It orders repair, rehabilitation, or demolition of 505 Hill Street within 35 days from date of order. Okay, do I hear a motion to enter into public hearing for 1009 West Louisiana Street?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are now in public hearing regarding 1009 West Louisiana Street.
Thank you. So this one's a few blocks from one of our parks. Obviously, there was a structure fire. Back in March, we did speak with the owner, and we made entry, and it is an absolute complete loss. He was at the time talking about trying to fix it and reuse it, but it was just totally gone. So we began our talks with him to see what he was going to try to do. He did come in. He did show some plans tentatively. I've sent him. We gave him extra time, because he was willing to show us what he wanted to do. Again, that's been almost 6 months ago. There's been a little bit of progress. He's been taking off some of the exterior siding that's right there where the burn area is. But again, it's been 6 months, and we just like to see more progress than that. And so anyways, I went ahead and sent the letter. I was hoping he would come in today and have a chance to speak with you guys, but obviously he didn't choose to. But anyway, it's another problem structure, and so this month and last month we've been trying to target these house fires and that are just completely open and obviously a hazard. So that's why it's in front of you today. You might have another picture. No. Yes. So that's just another angle. Shows you the back. It's not a great property. I don't feel like the owner is in a situation to really do much. So I feel like we're going to have to intervene if we want to see anything done with this property.
Anyone else that wishes to speak on 1009 West Louisiana? If not, do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
Make a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is closed. Do I hear a motion for declaration of dilapidation and or deterioration and unfit for human habitation in order repair, rehabilitation, or demolition of 1009 West Louisiana Street within 35 days?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries to order repair, rehabilitation, or demolition of 1009 West Louisiana Street within 35 days of date of order. Do I hear a motion to open public hearing for 705 West 8th Street?
Make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're now in public hearing for 705 West 8th Street.
So several months ago, we started this one. The owner did actually come into one of the meetings, and we actually met out there on site. And at the time, we were trying to see if we could come to some sort of assistance program, so to speak, between the city and these property owners because of the financial burden. And we've kind of been on hold with that, hoping that would come to fruition, but it sounds and looks like we're not going to move in any sort of direction that way. So I reached back out to the property owner and, explained to her that the burden's going to be on them, unfortunately, and we did need to move forward with it. So we sent notifications. I actually sent her an email about this meeting today, again, hoping she would come in. And this is another situation where the owner was a nice person and totally willing to speak with us and meet with us, but again, it's just the financial burden of dealing with this. But on the other side of it, it's our duty to get this something done about this, and it's close to Circle Drive. And from my understanding, the reason of the fire was that it was an unsecure building to begin with, and some kids got in there and actually started the fire. So it's still open and it's still much of a problem as it was then. So I just went ahead and picked it back up again and tried to move forward with it.
Definitely. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on 705 West 8th Street? Okay. If not, I will entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And the public hearing is now closed. I will now entertain a motion for a declaration of dilapidation and or deterioration and unfit for human habitation in order to repair, rehabilitation, or demolition of 705 West 8th Street within 35 days, date of order.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries to order repair, rehabilitation, or demolition of 705 West 8th Street within 35 days of date of order. And moving on to what looks like our final property, do I hear a motion to open the public hearing for 411 Canfield?
I make a motion for public hearing.
A motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're now in public hearing for 411 Canfield Street.
So 411 Canfield, we started some progress in this area several months ago. These two structures were obviously on our list. I know Mr. Soto has been in contact with the owner more than once on this issue. I think he was willing to do whatever he could or needed to. I don't know the specifics of those conversations personally, but I just know that this was on our list of targeted structures. So there's actually two structures on this property. I don't know how that happened or when, but they're both just completely gone and just huge eyesores, unfortunately. You can drive by there and you can nearly see through both of them. So we didn't bother with any warrants or anything like that for these structures, but we'd just like to see some progress and move forward. So pretty cut and dry.
Anyone else who wishes to speak on 411 Canfield Street? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is closed. Do I have a motion for declaration of dilapidation and/or deterioration and unfit for human habitation in order to repair, rehabilitation, or demolition of 411 Canfield Street within 35 days of date of order?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries to order repair, rehabilitation, or demolition of 411 Canfield Street within 35 days from date of order. Okay, now move on to item 6J, which is to discuss, consider, and act upon approving an ordinance of the City of Sweetwater, Texas, amending the Code of Ordinances, Article 2, Animal Control, Section 6-21, Enforcement Duties pertaining to animal control officers and enforcement officers. Chris, the floor is yours.
Really not many changes on this. This is just to make our ordinance comply with state law as to who's legally able to perform animal control duties. This will also give animal control the legal authority to file written complaints with our municipal court. In lieu of citations, you can't always catch the owners of the animals. Sometimes people are highly confrontational, and it's a safer alternative for them to file a complaint in the court. It also still preserves the right for them to do citations. There was some legal opinions put out about a citation being a restaurant, but there's language in there that prevents non-peace officers from making a physical arrest, which therefore allows them to still issue the citation.
Any further questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. Go ahead, John.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. If there's no more discussion, we'll vote now. All those in favor of this amendment to the ordinance, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. I'll now read the ordinance into the record. An ordinance of the City of Sweetwater, Texas, amending the Code of Ordinances, Article 2, Animal Control Department, Section 6-21, Enforcement Duties. Item 6K, consider and act upon approving an ordinance of the City of Sweetwater, Texas, amending the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 1, General Provisions, Sections 1-11, Code Enforcement Authority, subsections A, B, pertaining to code enforcement officers and enforcement options.
This is pretty much the exact same thing for the animal control. It aligns our ordinance with state law as to who's allowed to perform code enforcement actions. Will allow code enforcement to do written court complaints in municipal court. And again, will allow them to issue citations, but eliminates their authority to make a physical arrest.
Any further questions of Chris?
No.
Make a motion we approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. If there's no more discussion, we'll vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And so the ordinance is approved. I'll now read it into the record. An ordinance of the City of Sweetwater, Texas, amending the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 1, General Provisions, Section 1-11, Code Enforcement Authorities, subsection A and B. Moving on to item 6L, consider and act upon approving an ordinance of the City of Sweetwater, Texas, amending Appendix A, Zoning Ordinance, Section 3, Use Districts relating to manufactured homes and mobile homes pertaining to maximum age, placement, construction, and prohibitions.
So this and the next three, we're learning lessons from Abilene with the big construction booms going on in transit housing. This specific ordinance will require manufactured homes to be no more than 10 years old at the time they are placed. This is important because with a lot of the temporary housing coming in, there's a lot of really old and dilapidated structures. We've had calls, I stopped one last week on the interstate, literally chunks of it, people were calling in, were falling off onto the roadway, and they're moving these into places to get temporary housing in. You talked about property values going down. This will help us to reestablish property values, prohibit the unsightly issues. It's also long-term going to save the city money because the city's not going to have to do all these remediations and substandard structures when transit housing leaves. This also is going to require the house to be, the manufactured home to be facing their 911 street address. We've found out again through other cities too that this was a lot right here and this was the street down here. They would line them up and essentially create miniature trailer parks in the middle of neighborhoods versus if it had to align with the street, it would eliminate that issue. That's going to also help out with fire safety issues as well, prevent overcrowding, and again, just help the city overall with the long-term mitigation and mediation. When all the construction stuff goes away, a lot of these places are going to become abandoned, and it's going to be on the city and the taxpayer to foot the bill to get rid of them and clean them up.
I will add that item L, M, and N were all submitted to planning and zoning and subject to public hearing. So the community has already had a previous opportunity to come forward and speak in regards to these proposed changes. And your planning and zoning committee has unanimously suggested your approval, but of course defers to whatever the council wants to do in regards to these items.
Thank you, Samantha. Any further discussion?
Make a motion.
No second.
Was that you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if there's no more discussion, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. I'll read the ordinance into the record. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sweetwater, Texas, amending Appendix A zoning ordinance, Section 3, use districts relating to manufactured homes and mobile homes, adding uniform citywide placement, condition, orientation, utility, occupancy, and density standards requiring manufactured homes and mobile homes to be not more than 10 years old at setup and initial occupancy, requiring skirting, city utility connections, and single-family residential use, prohibiting multiple occupancy, workforce lodging, and spot zoning, providing for permits, inspections, enforcement of penalty, repeal of conflicting provisions, severability, savings, codification, publication, and effective date and open meeting findings. Item 6M, to discuss, consider, and act upon approving an ordinance of the City of Sweetwater, Texas, amending Appendix A zoning ordinance, Section 3, use districts, and Chapter 17, licenses and business regulations of the Code of Ordinances pertaining to manufactured mobile home parks and their construction, design, layout, prohibitions, and plans.
Again, this is lessons learned from other locations with the mass growth as well as our future growth here in the city long term. This would require manufactured home parks to have certain design features such as streets, gutters. It's going to require, with that other ordinance, the placement, the age. It's also going to place the infrastructure upkeep and maintenance on the owner of the park, not the city and not the taxpayers of the city. This is also going to help to prevent these shed communities that you see popping up all over, people literally living in Connex sea containers or converted sheds that you could get from Home Depot. It's also going to help to eliminate man camps like Midland, Odessa, think of the oil field where you could cram 20 people into one single structure. It's going to help to eliminate that as well and the extreme strain on resources that would cause on the emergency response side. And again, by doing this, it's going to focus more on long-term quality growth, and it's going to help to limit future abatements on the city for having to clean everything up when the construction booms and everything go down.
Any further questions or comments?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor of amending this ordinance, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And so the motion carries and the item is approved. I'll now read the ordinance into the record. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sweetwater, Texas, amending Appendix A zoning ordinance, Section 3, use districts, and Chapter 17, licenses and business regulations of the Code of Ordinances, adding Article 9, manufactured home parks, Section 17-141 through 17-150, establishing comprehensive regulations for the location, design, construction, permitting, operation, and maintenance of manufacturing home parks, requiring a minimum park area of 5 acres, requiring a minimum separation of 200 feet between homes, requiring curved and paved streets, paved driveways, city utility connections and individual meters, underground electric lines, an approved drainage plan, fire hydrants, 911, address orientation, prohibiting tiny homes in unapproved permanent, portable, or temporary buildings, limiting a park office to 1,000 square feet, requiring each park to have a designated owner or operator responsible for maintenance of all private roadways and common areas at no cost to the city, requiring roadways to be maintained free of buckling, heaving, and other pavement defects, providing for enforcement and penalties, providing for repeal of conflicting provisions, severability, savings, codification, publication, and an effective date, and finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public is required by law. Item 6N, which is to discuss, consider, and act upon approval of an ordinance of the City of Sweetwater, Texas, amending Chapter 17, Licenses and Business Regulations, Article 6, Recreational Vehicle Parks, or the Code of Ordinances by repealing and replacing sections 17 through 88 through 17-91 pertaining to RV parks, regulating placement, design, layout, security bonds, enforcement, conditional use permits, and prohibitions.
This one is probably the most important one that we have before you today. Again, with the construction booms going on, the biggest concern on this is we have several areas in the city where you can get, like Abilene and other areas, we have multi-thousand lot RV parks. The extreme strain on infrastructure, emergency response resources, bluntly, would probably break the city. One of the pre-existing parks, we as law enforcement are starting to go out there more. This ordinance was crafted, we had a meeting with the applicable department heads, and we were all in agreement on the requirements for this. These RV parks will come in, and again, it's going to be up to the city to remediate everything when the construction boom ends. They're not going to be permanent. The surety bond in there, if they want to come in and build, that is a guarantee that they will come and clean up their site. If they don't clean it up, they don't get their bond back. If they want to open up, that is great. If they meet the requirements on here, it will actually bring substantial land value based off the site improvements that they have to create to operate the park. Again, the biggest concern on this is the city's remediation, which then falls under the citizens and the taxpayer. If these places close down, they don't operate, they just pack up and go, as well as the strain on the water system, the roadways, and emergency services.
Thank you, Chris. Any other questions?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the ordinance is approved. I'll read it into the records. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sweetwater, Texas, amending Chapter 17, Licenses and Business Regulations, Article 6, Recreational Vehicle Parks of the Code of Ordinances by repealing and replacing sections 17-88 through 17-91, establishing comprehensive regulations for the location, design, construction, permitting, operation, inspection, and maintenance of recreational vehicle parks, requiring zoning approval, a conditional use permit, and an annual operating permit, providing development, utility, fire safety, security, occupancy, record keeping, and enforcement standards, requiring a site remediation surety bond equal to 125% of the total project cost, requiring defining shutdown, requiring comprehensive inspections at least once every 4 months, providing a penalty, providing for repeal of conflicting provisions, providing a severability clause, providing a savings clause, providing for codification, publication, and an effective date, and finding and determining that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. Item 6.0. We will now discuss, consider, and act upon an addendum to the city meet and confer agreement between the City of Sweetwater and the Sweetwater Police Officers Association. The other Corey will speak.
So this addendum will add a third hiring process for us. Right now we currently have where we can hire through the civil service exam, and we can hire lateral candidates that have at least 2 years service. This addendum would allow us to hire certified officers who have graduated within the last year but don't quite have that 2 years of service. It will just expedite the hiring process for these candidates for us.
Any further questions?
How can you go around civil service to do that? I mean, what's the...
So through our meet and confer agreement, through meet and confer, the city side and the Patrols Officers Association can, as long as both sides agree, can put it in writing in our meet and confer agreement to bypass the test on that. Chapter 143 Civil Service Code allows us to do that.
Sergeant Davis is here representing the Officers Association.
I'm the president of the association. What happens during the meet and confer is the city and the association can get together, mediate, and come to an agreement on how to do it. Then it goes to a vote to the general officers, to everybody that is in patrol, and detectives, every certified peace officer, even if they're not a member of the association. Then the majority rules, and on this one, we it was 12-3 was the actual vote to carry this through, to be able to do this.
Okay, I have a problem with bypassing civil service, though.
In the long run, with doing this, it's going to be beneficial to the officers, because right now we're working pretty much 2 to 3 days extra every week of overtime. Plus, it's going to save the city all the overtime that it is, and plus training too, because if we can already get them out of the academy instead of having to put them through the academy, we're taking it down to where we get somebody on the street within just 2 to 3 months instead of a year and a half.
Right. But why wouldn't an officer coming out of the academy go through the testing process?
So they can, if we have a test already listed. Sometimes we have openings that are created and a test isn't posted. Well, that test has to be posted for a certain amount of time. They have to wait for that test. Well, all the while these academies are graduating candidates that aren't committed to places, that if we're not available to hire them right when they graduate, they can then go get hired by agencies that are allowed to hire them right then.
And this was proposed by the association,
Yes.
not the city.
Right.
They came to us.
And they still have to take the physical agility.
Do what?
They still have to do the physical agility part
Right.
of it.
Everything's the same except for that test. And the thought process on it is if they just passed the academy, they just passed the state test, the civil service test is actually easier than that state test is.
Right.
So they're still testing, just not the civil service.
Yeah.
How many vacancies do we need to fill?
I believe we have 4 or 5 right now. I'm not sure on the exact number.
At last count, the association had it at 6.
And how many tested at the last testing period?
3.
How many passed?
3.
3. The test before we had 11 and maybe 2 passed, and none of them passed the physical ability, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Recruitment and retention is obviously a struggle right now in law enforcement, and I think the association is trying to think outside the box to fill these positions because they're working a lot of overtime.
I understand the reasoning.
And I would just clarify, this is statutorily permitted. So
Do what?
this is statutorily and legally permitted to accept this meet and confer agreement. So you're not bypassing civil service. You are utilizing a statutory framework that allows the association and the city to agree to something that's in everyone's mutual best interest.
Any further discussion?
Move we approve the addendum.
I hear a second.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. If there's no more discussion, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. The motion is approved. To item 6P, which is to discuss, consider, and act upon approval of a Chapter 380 Economic Development Agreement between the the City of Sweetwater and Almond Branch Homes LLC for the conveyance and residential development of 709 Wall Street, 711 Wall Street, and 717 Wall Street in Sweetwater, Texas, pursuant to Chapter 380 of the Texas Local Government Code.
So we previously, back in, I believe it's March, did an agreement with Almond Branch Homes. They are the Lubbock manufacturer of modular type homes that are going on Wall Street. Throughout Chapter 380 agreement, by giving them these remaining 3 parcels, there are actually 5 lots. One of these parcels has 3 lots in them. It'll fill that block of Wall Street. They've already pre-leased some of their original 4, and so those should be on the ground here pretty soon. I did want to point out a few things that we kind of changed that we learned from the last process as compared to the initial 380s that we brought you. One of the things that we added in is that we give the city manager some authority to sign for their documents. That could be anything as far as changing the effective date, like we kind of had to go through because the title company took a little bit of time doing title work. Or we also gave the city manager authority to grant an extension if there is any issue that the developer cannot commence construction within 60 days of title. They can come and give good reason to the city manager, and this specific agreement allows him to grant them an extension. Also, we lined out a couple of times that the city is not responsible for any expenses related to this document. The first set of Chapter 380s, the city did pay the title insurance, which I think was a total of $900-ish, but we don't want to put any burden on the city. These developers are getting a good incentive by getting these lots for $10 a piece. Also, we made this one more kind of like fill in the blank, where the body and the main guts of the agreement are attached in the exhibits, specifically Exhibit B that gives all the requirements for the improvements. You'll see on here listed that that's where we'll put the site plans and the actual plans that they'll work with the permitting office on to draw permits. That way we can, if they variate or deviate from any of those plans they provided, we can use our remedies that are in the agreement to either fine them or take back the lots. Are there any questions?
Do you anticipate we're going to be doing a lot more of these 380 agreements?
I think so.
Yes, substantial demand.
Yes, sir. There is.
See, maybe 5 more potentials from earlier. We have 5 more potentials from earlier. We're going to tear down some more houses.
Yeah.
There we go.
We should just get these folks connected with Jonathan and just follow him.
We've got to get that foreclosure process speeded up a little bit, which we'll kind of discuss here in a bit.
Other cities have been reaching out to Amisha and her staff about how to do these. So
We have a couple of peers that want to come imitate our agreements.
Seeds to be commended for setting the standard.
Yes, sir.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion with approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. If there's no more discussion, we'll vote. All those in favor of approving these 380 agreements, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion is approved. Time for our city manager's report.
thank you, sir. Just a reminder, we will have 2 council meetings in September 8th and the 15th. Mustang Harbor Splash Pad will be closing September 14th. Last night we closed the city pool with a final night with city employees for City Appreciation Night. Appreciate Seed MDD for supplying pizza for all our staff. We had a great turnout and looked like they had a really good time. Online auction results. We would like to thank Jonathan Boone and his crew for the hard work on the auction. We got to clean up the service center and other departments significantly by having this auction. The auction brought in $59,186.67 for 22 vehicles. once again, Jonathan, thank your crew for all the work on that. Last but not least, Sweetwater Stories, which is our partnership with the City of Sweetwater and the Pioneer Museum that highlights the people, traditions, and moments that help shape our community. And let's take a moment to watch the latest edition.
Sometimes the biggest influence comes from people working quietly in the background. Royce Porter was born right here in Sweetwater on April 1st, 1939. Music was in his blood from the start, performing at the Saturday Night Jamboree as a kid. He had talent, he had drive, but Royce had bigger dreams than just being on stage. In 1969, he made the decision to save up enough money for a year, left his 9-year-old son with his parents here in Sweetwater, and moved to Nashville to do what he really wanted to do, write songs. With his partner Bucky Jones, Royce Porter became one of the most prolific songwriters in country music history. When George Strait recorded Oceanfront Property, that was Royce. When Reba McEntire climbed the charts with Glad I Waited Just For You, that was Royce. It ain't cool to be crazy about you for George Strait. Without You, What Do I Do For Me for Tanya Tucker, the most wanted woman in town for Roy Head, a man he called his best friend. Chart after chart, hit after hit, songs millions heard, a name most people didn't know. Royce Porter passed away in May of 2018, but listen to country radio today and you'll hear his amazing influence in every song he wrote. To learn more about Royce and other Sweetwater pioneers, visit the Sweetwater Pioneer City County Museum.
Thank you. Manager's report. Now going to move on to item 8, which is to enter the closed session pursuant to section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code, consultation with attorney, closed meeting. City Council will meet in closed session to consult with its attorney on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the City Council under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter. Ask for a motion to enter into closed session.
Make a motion. Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We will now enter into closed session.